And we're live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to a show about shows, episode number 59. Are you not entertained? Today we have a very special guest, but first let's talk about me, your host, Jordan Pierce Owens. I'm joined by my other main host. You can't see him because, well,
That's not, there. I just showed up just for the saying hello, and then I might fade back.
Dutch McAllister, how are you tonight, Dutchie?
I'm doing well. How about you guys? You guys are doing well? I like we have a new guest tonight in the chair.
Yes, his name is Avery. Oh, no, we have another new guest tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, you might have seen him on, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire movie edition. You might even see him on this channel doing some trivia, being a boss, getting 19 out of 20 questions right. It was insane. Has never happened before. Will probably never happen again. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Mesa.
Never say never, Jordan. Never say never.
It might happen again only if you do it again, probably.
I do it. If there's any unwilling victim that's willing to step up to the plate and try to take me up to the mantle of godlike movie trivia-ness, then we'll see.
I'll host it tonight, and Jordan, you can take him. How's that?
I'll take him on one day. Steve, how many times has Gary Oldman died on screen?
Jesus Christ, you even throw me off right there. I definitely have to probably count more. No, I think less than 10.
No, he's probably in double digits.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, no, I have that stat somewhere on my floor, if you really need to know this. I have, notes everywhere. But, yeah, I have that note somewhere stashed.
We got a fun show for you guys. Not only are we talking about some recent movie reviews, Dutch, of course, has some TV reviews, and we're counting down our top 10 Russell Crowe films. You guys ready for Russell Crowe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bro, for sure.
Okay, both of you need to calm the hell down.
I'm so excited I'm going to throw a telephone at someone.
I'm so excited I'm going to give you an Orange Cassidy thumbs up.
Here's a little too raised. You got to go a little lower.
No.
Your thumb's too straight. There. Okay, we'll talk later about OC thumbs up. That's too flat, Steve. You got to find a good medium there.
Like that? Like that?
Yeah. You can't go straight. You gotta go. Anywho, I'm sure we're totally boring the audience at home. You want to start doing some movie reviews?
What was that?
Let's start off with some movie reviews here. I saw my friend Dutch here saw a movie called End of Sentence. Frank Fogel embarks on a journey to honor his wife's last wish of spreading her ashes in a remote lake in her native Ireland, and a promise of taking her estranged son, Sean, along for the trip. This stars John Hawkes. I love John Hawkes, by the way. Logan Lerman, or as you put in the notes, Logan Kerman, and Sarah Bolger.
I was using my phone when I was inputting this stuff in.
You also misspelled Hawkes. I fixed that already, but I missed Kerman. So.
What do you mean? It was Hakes, right? Or something like Hawkes or something like that.
No, that's correct, but that's not what you had. I'm just letting you know.
Again, I was working my phone as I was doing something else. So, but anyhow, these are just notes. People don't even know that I can't spell worth a shit. Jesus. Anyway, this film actually, Logan Lerman is one of my sleeper actors who I always champion. Why doesn't he get more films? Why doesn't he get more things? I enjoyed this film. It's a heart-touching tale in which Jason Hawke is Logan's father, Sean.
John Hawkes. We just talked about this.
Yeah. I said, what did I say?
Jason. You said Jason.
It doesn't matter. Frank, played by Hawks, is Sean, played by Lerman's father. There we go. This film actually is pretty good. Lerman actually plays a kid who's basically been in trouble his whole life, in and out of prison, and has a very big chip on his shoulder toward his father, in which we do find there was abuse done, but not by Frank, but by his grandfather. And so that is a wedge that's already in this film. They bring that up probably a quarter through it. So, but yeah, it's just a tension-filled deal. The wife dies of cancer. Then they take them to that lovely road trip of bonding to Ireland to spread her ashes in a lake per her wishes. So they basically go out and they do this, and I enjoyed this. The performances done by all. Bolger, she's the femme fatale, if you want to put her in a better light. She's basically a con girl who charms her way into an easy mark, which would be Sean, and then woos the hearts of Frank as well, because he's also a puddled mess since his wife has died. But it's more of a bonding between father and son as the storyline progresses. I thought it was a very good film at the end of the day, very well. I had a feeling how it was going to end, because if it ended the way it was going to end, it was just going to be bleh. But it was a good ending. At the end, we find the reason why the father acts the way he does. We find some other stuff about why he does, and that's the reason why there's a bonding moment. So all in all, though, I gave this a 3.5 snowflake review. It's well worth the watch. It's on VOD at the moment. And it's like I said, if you have nothing else better to do, it's not a bad purchase.
All right, interesting. I've looked at this a little bit here and there as a possibility. Like I said, I'm a big Hawks fan. And Lerman, like you said, is also kind of, it's interesting. I'd like to see him in more things as well. So,
yeah. So the next film that we got going is called Proect Power. It's on Netflix. Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Dominique Fishback, Courtney B. Vance, and Colson Baker star as an ex-soldier, a teen, and a cop collide in New Orleans as they hunt for the source behind a dangerous new pill that grants users temporary superpowers. I decided to watch something else other than this weekend, but you saw this, Jordan, right? So tell me what. Well, I don't know. Steve could have saw it this weekend as well. It's on Netflix.
We did talk earlier. You didn't say it.
I didn't pay attention to the pre-show talk. You know that. I never ever do. But yeah. What did you think about this film?
Okay. Yeah, Proect Power is another big budget Netflix action film, and I'm going to talk about another one that I'm way behind on a little bit later here. But yeah, this follows the same trend. We've been seeing this a lot this year. Old Guard, Extraction, and now this. And it's really, to me, so far, they're all very much in they're solidly good, but not spectacular review zone here. It's got an interesting premise. You take the pill and you have 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you get a superpower. You're either invisible, super strong, maybe bullets won't affect you, so it's kind of interesting. They have some fun with that. I like the opening setup with Machine Gun Kelly. That's Colson Baker here. One flaw that I had with this film is that there's no real big juicy bad guys. There's a lot of 3 to 4 bad guys and girls, but there's no final oomph in the finality of this film here. So it leaves you with a little bit of a whimper, unfortunately, in a way too. But there's fun getting there here. It's great seeing both JGL and Jamie Foxx. Again, kind of like an Old Guard. I feel like this is definitely elevated because they got really good actors to elevate kind of a lack of a script here. So it's elevated. It's fun. It's worth checking out for sure. It's on Netflix. Again, I'm thinking about giving that an extra star or extra half a star. Yeah, I had enough fun with this. I'm going to give it 3.5. It's a fun, worthwhile action flick, but again, just not spectacular. I don't think I've loved, like I said, these, including the one I'll talk about here in a minute, but it's worth checking out here. JJL and Fox do really good here. And so does Dominique Fishback. I want to give her a shout out as well, the young lady. So,
yeah, is this better than the last J. Gordon-Levitt film that we talked about was
no.
7500? If you were to say which one's
it's
better,
a weird comparison, but yeah. I mean, I didn't. Our guest at the time hated it. We both were kind of okay with it. 3 stars so far, so it's not that far better. But yeah, I think this succeeded probably a little bit more in that field's expectation.
Cool. I will take a look at it.
Well, I know you're here, Dutch. I know you're here, Steve. But is Mike Wallace here? Mike Wallace is here, an unflinching look at the legendary reporter who interrogated the 20th century's biggest figures in his over 50 years on air, and his aggressive reporting style and showmanship that redefined what America came to expect from broadcasters. So you finally got your documentary in, Dutch. Tell me about this one.
I actually did, and I was looking through a few other ones. There's one already scheduled for next week's show, but this one I've always liked Mike Wallace. If you ever watched 60 Minutes, who didn't probably growing up. He was just a great interviewer who basically stuck to his guns. He really wanted to make sure that he got this full story. He didn't want to give Puff questions like, "Hey Jordan, what's your favorite color?" He didn't give a crap about your favorite color. He wanted to know why, this was happening at this time. And I learned things about him. I didn't know he was in show business before. He did the radio show for the Green Lantern. When he was younger, he did a few other things such as, product placement in his show back in the day. He had what they called the night. It's almost like a Nightline show, but it was like the Night Talk or something. I can't remember what it was all of a sudden. But he was shucking Parliament's cigarettes because he smoked while he was doing his interviews on the air. So that was a tie-in type of thing, and he did all that. But then he decided as he got older to jump into the hard news business, and he wanted to be taken seriously as a newsman. And it's just a good documentary that uses old clips of his interview of him, from people interviewing him, and also telling a story through the eyes of a few other people, but mostly through his clips. And it's just of other interviews that he put out, and it was just a fascinating way of watching this documentary. I enjoyed it a lot. It's on Hulu, and it's for Snowflakes easy. And if you like just a good, just a solid documentary on a great newsman, this is it. And of course, he has flaws like everyone else, and he talks about that. But it's a good film. You should all get around to watching it. Okay. So, don't let me call you sweetheart. Sweetheart, the next movie you're going to review is called Sweetheart. Jen has washed ashore on a small tropical island alone. She must spend her days not only surviving the elements, but most also fend off the malevolent force that comes out each night. This has Kiersey Clemons, Emery Cohen, and Hannah Lawrence. Is this a horror film, or is it a nice rom-com on an island feel?
Did you read the premise you just literally read out loud?
I don't know. It sounds like it could be romance. I don't know. It's on Fantasy Island.
Anyway, so yeah, this is a horror film where Kiersey Clemons gets stranded on the island here, and she slowly finds out, she's not alone. Well, she's alone with no humans, but something else is going on here, and they do a really good job of kind of building up, finding out this creature. It's done on a low budget, but they do a really good job of doing the tension. I won't even obviously spoil it, but when you first kind of see a glimpse of the monster, it's done in a very interesting way. And yeah, you're really kind of caught up in this, and she's really good. She's the girl from what's the one with Nick Offerman, Dutch? Heart Beat Loud, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's that girl, so she's really good here. You're alone with her for a good chunk of the movie here. Emery Cohen, who I won't spoil what he plays. I've always loved him too. Whenever he pops up, so. It's a smaller film. You know what I mean? You got to understand there's a good amount of little build-up here, but there's some good tension, some good fun here. And again, kind of continuing with the theme of all my reviews here tonight, pretty good, not spectacular, 3.5.
They're watchable, though. It sounds like they're all watchable this week.
Absolutely. For a small horror film that's done with a minuscule cast, like there's literally like 2 other people in this, and they're barely in this. And then, on a small budget, they work well with it here. It's good with shading and then a little bit of practical effects, which I always enjoy. So, yeah, I think this one is worth checking out.
And where can people pick this one up?
This is as well. So far, everything I've talked about movie-wise is all on Netflix. So it's all on Netflix.
Okay, perfect. One-stop shopping is always easy for my remote. The next one we have is also one that I've reviewed earlier this year. I didn't give it a great review, but I want to hear what you think about it. It's called Six Underground. After faking a death, a tech billionaire recruits a team of international operatives for a bold and bloody mission to take down a brutal dictator. This has Ryan Reynolds, Corey Hopkins, Melanie Laurent, Manuel Rufio, I think, Rolfo. Yeah, we'll go Rolfo. Ben Hardy and Dave Franco. What do you think?
What did you think? Remind me of kind of your brief synopsis, Dutch.
It was a Michael Bay headache, in which there's no plot, really thin, and the only thing that really entertained me was Ryan Reynolds when he was on the screen, and that's about it, my friend. But it was like a 2, I believe, a 2.5 to be pushing it, but I believe it was a 2 snowflake deal for me.
All right, so I'm actually going to be nicer. Obviously, I was not jumping to see this. I'm several months behind because of Michael Bay. Unfortunately, I saw the runtime, I heard all the reviews, and I was just like, I'll get to it when I get to it. I finally got to it. And yeah, it starts off right away with the big action scene. It's not badly shot, I guess, but you don't know anything yet. And they do a little bit throughout the movie of a little bit of a backstory here, but again, it's Michael Bay. There's humor that I didn't find funny throughout it. Like literally, like they will do penis jokes and then have a death 5 minutes later, and it's like it's such a weird contrast that Michael Bay loves. Women here, unfortunately, are very underdeveloped. They're the most underdeveloped. The men have more backstory than the women. The women are here to look hot and have close-ups of them in thongs. That's what they're here for, which is, again, a Michael Bay staple here. It's too long, Michael Bay staple. This could be chopped down 30 minutes here. And it was fine. It's another one that I feel like passes the time. It's on Netflix. If it wasn't on Netflix, I wouldn't say bother $6.99 renting it, but if it's on Netflix and you're looking for something that looks nicely shot, 2.5. I'm giving it that extra half a star. God damn it, 2.5 stars.
Listen. You're in trouble when the first scene is about 40 minutes long, and it's a car chase. It's a nicely done car chase, but at the same time, it has no real meaning to the film for me. I mean, literally, it's Dave Franco's in it for 10 seconds in that film.
But yeah, that was also a bit of disappointment that he's in and out.
Yeah, so I'm not spoiling. I just, because you can't spoil a Bay film because we already know what we're going in for. Steve, did you get a chance to see this one at all, or?
No, I did. Any time there's a Michael Bay movie, unless it has a rock in it, I usually avoid it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do.
Even with the rock, though, his track record is not great.
Hey, I'm a big fan of Pain and Gain, man.
You and my brother.
I enjoy it too. It's a pretty good film. This is probably one of the Rock's better ones for acting.
What are you smoking, Dutch?
No, I don't smoke.
I mean, the character was smoking something. So. Doing a lot of side business. It's a very unique. If I'm going to say this, Pain and Gain is a very unique performance from The Rock. It's a different performance.
Everyone's trying, and The Rock definitely does have. He's probably the one that has the most fun in the film, at least from a character standpoint. But yeah, it's not horrible. I don't mean to shit on it. I just when that's one of your higher ones, I don't think that's a great compliment in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some TV shows here. I got nothing this week, but I know you're talking Jason Sudeikis. You're talking a Big Show crossover. You're talking some bounty hunters. So talk to us, Dutch.
Yes, Apple. Apple has become the apple of my eye for actually putting out decent television for once. I am shocked of what I'm finding on this network. What people are letting fly to this network of all things. Ted Lasso, Jason Sudeikis. He plays a coach of football from Wichita State. Coming off a big championship to teaching or actually coaching a premiership English soccer team. And he has no clue about soccer at all. He has none of the lingo. He has no clue what's going on. He has Coach Beard at his side. I can't remember who he's played by, but he's like the coach who does all the work and just tells him this is what's going to happen. It is a fabulous, funny show. I watched the first 3 episodes. That's what they just launched out. Now it's going to be a weekly release per episode. But it is a knockdown, funny show. If you have it, access to it, there is no need not to see it because it is hilarious. If you just and yeah, it's about soccer, but it's also about the humans behind the soccer, and it's just like I said, it's just I fell in love with the show right away, right away. The next one I just talked about is basically a crossover event. This is the big crossover event they were planning for the Olympics. It looks like the Netflix deal was. It has the Big Show, Mr. Iglesias, Family Reunion, and I can't remember the fourth show. But all four shows basically cross over with maybe an appearance or two by other people within the show. But again, if you're a fan of any of these shows, which I'm a fan of, the Iglesias show and the Big Show, and I'm two big fans of that. Those episodes were fun. I've never really saw the reunion show, the family reunion show, but that actually looked pretty fun to probably catch up on.
I don't even know what that is.
I didn't either until this one. And then there's a Mario Lopez vehicle, I guess, that's out there on Netflix too. I don't even know the name of that, and I feel real bad. But that looks like it has a little bit of promise as well. But yeah, I enjoyed that one immensely. But then sticking with Netflix, I watched Teenage Bounty Hunters, just launched. I am what am I? I'm less than 4 episodes now from completing the season. It is a unbelievably fun show. This has help me if somebody can. Different World. He was Dwayne Wayne. What was his name? The guy with the flip glasses. Anybody remember? No. Okay, I think it was Kadeem something. I can't remember.
Oh, Kadeem Hardison. Yes.
There you go.
You should have said who was Marlon Wayans' brother in The Sixth Man, and I would have been right there.
Well, the way I got introduced to him was on Lisa Bonet's A Different World show as Dwayne Wayne. But that dates me a little. But I got to tell you, this one is fun. It's about two Catholic girls, two religious school girls, not Catholic, but like Baptist or something like that. And they basically get mistaken for bounty hunters. It's just a fun show. It's just ridiculous, but it's just about them in high school doing this other thing, and now there's other side stories. But each episode is them trying to get a new bounty, them getting under Kadeem Hardison's skin, and basically just another underlying current, and it's just paced well. Like I said, you can't be disappointed if you turn this on. Just put all reality of two 16-year-old girls or 17-year-old girls being mistaken as bounty hunters. But if you put that on, it does every time, But it's well worth the watch, and it's well worth your time of investing. I'm gonna after this show, I'm gonna go finish it up tonight to watch the last 4.
Steve, you doing any streaming, any shows you've been hopped up on?
Not recently, but today I just got on a Hatchet / Victor Crowley fix. So I actually, I had previously seen Hatchet 1 and 2. I rewatched Hatchet 2, then I watched Hatchet 3, and then finished it off with Victor Crowley. Actually watching the last drive-in edition of last night's last drive-in edition with Joe Bob Briggs, where he hosted the Slumber Party Massacre 3 and Victor Crowley in a back-to-back marathon. Very.
Why didn't they just call it Hatchet 4?
I'm guessing Adam Green wanted to do something different, I guess.
But he didn't. Let's be honest, he didn't. Now, I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying he didn't do anything different. Just call it Hatchet 4.
So my guess was the last time he had when he directed Hatchet 2, remember that that they released the movie unrated. So I think there was some sort of, not really sure, just guessing at this point. I think there was just some bad blood over between the studio, AMC, and director that he, I guess, got turned off doing 3, so he didn't do 3. He wrote 3, but it was directed by somebody else. Then he wanted to do something different with the story, because the Victor Crowley story takes place 10 years after the first 3 movies, because all first 3 movies take place on one night or over the course of 2 nights. So I guess he wanted to do something different where it literally jumps ahead 10 years down the line, where one of the survivors tells them, tells the all story.
I've seen all 4. Yeah, it's still the same. It's the same kind of movie though. It's not like a reboot or a reimagining. It's just that's why it's Hatchet 4.
It's the same movie. I honestly I liked it. It's way better than Hatchet 3. Hatchet 3 is just like kill, fodder. It has a little bit of a side story about returning the ashes to Victor Crawley. Then he'll be reunited or whatever. But it's just very muddled. A lot of racist undertones. Maybe Hatchet.
Those were fun. The first 2, if not 3, were fun group movies. We would get all excited when a new Hatchet movie came out, and we'd actually do a group viewing because they're not great movies by any means, but they're fun.
They're entertaining. They're
fun
entertaining.
bad movies.
Yeah, they're like there's like movies that you just relax and just put them on, which I basically did, and just watched them basically back to back to back.
Here's one for you, Steve. If you're looking for something that's also kind of nutso, the man. Never mind. I'll tell you later. Prey. Is it Prey? No, I don't know. I can't remember the name of the movie.
No, the other movie I talked about, Slumber Party Massacre 3, that's nuts. You guys ever seen that?
No. Is that the one where there is no 1 and 2, or?
No. I meant Slumber Party Massacre Part 2. The one with the guy with the phallic-like drill/guitar. It looks like a.
Oh, I've seen the flyer. I've never, or like the poster. I've never seen the movie.
It's basically you take it's basically the horror equivalent of Inland Empire. David Lynch. It's basically a David Lynch movie, except this is not as good.
Feast 1, 2, and 3 is what I recommend.
I seen one actually. I seen one in the theaters when it came out.
It gets way crazier. Yes.
I'm just gonna say this. I don't watch horror films, so I'm just enjoying listening to this. But I'm like, I don't know. I think
I have a horror film for you.
How about Basket Case 1, 2, and something? I've seen those.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay then. Okay, there. I don't even know what it's.
I know what he's talking about. Basket Case. I have not seen the movie, but just the poster itself just freaks me out from even watching it.
I have a horror movie for you, Dutch, and I actually want to talk about this real quick. Mr. Iglesias with Gabriel Iglesias. I cannot get into it, man. I have tried more than once because I love Gabriel Iglesias. I always thought he'd made sense for his own TV show, come sooner or later. This show doesn't know what it wants to be. Is it a PG kid show? Is it an edgier PG-13 show? Like, they're making cunnilingus jokes, but then they're like, it's really cheesy too. We're like, oh, I'm going to do it for the kids. This show doesn't know what it wants to be.
It knows what it wants to be. It's now developed in season 2 or 2.5 or whatever they call this. But yeah, I look at it as it was a PG-13 type romp, and then it gets a little edgier toward the 17-year-old nines or whatever, and it has adult theme humor as well. I think it's well balanced for the 13 and up family. I think it is. Again, I don't have children, so I have no clue.
I tried. I can't get into it. I don't think it is. I feel like it's trying to be a PBS show that all of a sudden wants to be AP Bio and doesn't know what the hell it wants to be.
Nah, it's fun. It's still fun. I read an article that he only said that he only thought that they're going to have 3 seasons. I think there's one more season left if he's going to do any of these. This season was cut short because of everything else was cut short due to the COVID issue. But yeah, he says one more season. I think is what he had planned anyway. It's like 3 seasons. So right now,
no season 4.
No. Unless there's money. He says if there's somebody backs up the brakes truck, he'll come back for 4, but he's looking at 3.
All right, well, I know why we all came here. We came here for the big dance and the man that is called Russel Crowe. You know him. You love him. I want to know what this movie is where he's in a panda suit with a gun. I don't know. Anywho, I just saw this one. What is this?
I don't know.
Looks like the next 3 days, maybe?
No, I mean maybe I don't remember that by heart, but I don't remember him in a damn panda suit. Anyway, I didn't know he was also a young kid. Look at that, look cute.
It's probably some TV show. I know he did TV for a little bit.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of obscure stuff from his native land. So, anyway, we're here for Russell Crowe. We're talking about top 10 films of Russell Crowe here. We'll go kind of clockwise. Me, Dutch, Steve. My honorable mentions, ones that did not make my 10 real quick. American Gangster, Proof of Life, A Good Year, The Next 3 Days, and Man with the Iron Fist. Close calls, but no cigar. My number 10, a recent one here, Boy Erased. A little bit again of a lackluster ending here, but some really strong performances here of someone being sent to a camp to tell him he's not gay, and it's really frustrating. It's great performances, a nice nuanced performance by Crowe himself here as the father that he's struggling with. Do I just love my kid, or do I try to follow these ways that I've been raised my whole life, kind of thing? So, really good performances here. My number 10, Dutch, what you got?
That one actually was trying to get into the top 10, but I do love that do love the show. Nicole Kidman also great performance put into it. Everybody in that all did just fantastic. But my number 10 is Master and Commander. Yes, Master and Commander. His high seas show, I think it was the Galapagos Islands, I think, on that side of the world. And I just thought it was just a good little show. So there you go, Master Commander.
Steve, what you got for your 10?
I'm gonna have to say, it wasn't a great movie. His role wasn't great, but I say he made a hell of an impression in Les Miserables. I mean, yes, you could talk about Hugh Jackman, you could talk about Anne Hathaway, but come on, his rock star vocals just knocking you silly through 2.5 hours. How can you not enjoy that?
No, Russell. I agree. Russell was great in the singing. I had no problem with his singing. Some people did, I guess, but I enjoyed it.
He made it. It was enough of an impression, but by the time the movie got to where it needed to be, I was kind of glad that he made a face plant onto that fountain, because so at that point it was kind of like, okay, yeah, go ahead and just eat the water, okay?
That is a movie I did not see, and don't plan on ever seeing it.
You should see it. You should
see it.
Knock it off your Russell Crowe bucket list.
I'm not a big musical guy, and
Just do it.
Just watch it.
You'll laugh, if anything. You'll laugh more than you'll enjoy it. Okay.
Stop peer pressuring me. Number 9 for me is, I believe, his earliest film on my list, and that's The Quick and the Dead here. Decent Western, great cast here. Not the last time I'm going to talk about him and Leonardo DiCaprio. Sarah Stone? No, what am I thinking of?
Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone. I knew that was wrong. Thank you. Sharon Stone.
Gene Hackman.
And of course, Gene Hackman. God, I miss you, Gene Hackman. I really do. So yeah, again, not the best film on the list here. We're gonna kind of continue to get better, in my opinion. But I've always thought Quick and the Dead was actually a little underrated, and that's my number 9.
I did have that on my list at all. The one that I do have is also a Western, 3:10 to Yuma. It was actually better than the original 3:10 to Yuma. But I found Christian Bale, and it was also in it as well.
Hey, Logan Lerman in it too.
Yes, there's the kid in that one, right? Was he? I do remember it as well, but yeah, I was trying to figure out Christian Bale, who was the other dude in it. That was like the big headliner. I love this one. I thought it had everything you want in a Western. People said Westerns are dead. That's why I didn't probably pull as much buck. But to me, it was as good as any Western that you could actually have. That was a remake or at least partial remake of a film. And it is to me, one of the best Westerns that came out during this period. It was just a good time for Russell Crowe, I think, as in his career as well. So 3:10 to Yuma is my number 9.
So my number 9 is, well, just to say, the way I've been doing this is based on his performances. While I think The Quick and the Dead was a really, really good movie, I think there was more focus on Stone's and Hackman's performance than Crowe's performance. So that's why I have him probably on my honorable mention. But number 9 would have to be The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling. This was a return to form for Shane Black after directing Iron Man 3. He's going back to doing detective stories. While Gosling kind of has the more flashier role. Russell's there just to be his foil, just to be his Murtaugh to Gosling's Riggs. And the movie itself, I think it was a little bit overrated. Everybody praised it, like it was like the best Lethal Weapon it was. But honestly, it was a little underwhelming for my taste. But for the performance-wise, you couldn't get any better than having Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling as cops.
I know I will be talking about The Nice Guys a little later in the show.
My only problem with your picks is that they're both way too low. So we're talking about both of them. God, I love those movies. My number 8 coming in here is it's an ensemble piece. And it's just a fun, kind of twisty, political thriller. It's State of Play. It was a few years ago. Him, Affleck, Bridges. Just a really great cast coming here with some. They're nailing the dialogue. It's a fun little twisty. Oh, who's good, who's bad, and again, it's a fun time in your house watching just actors doing their best acting.
My number 8 is. Again, I think I was the only one to really like this film. My mom actually went to watch it, and a $20 bill showed up for us to pay for it. That was how nice it was. It was a great day. It was a blessed day. It was called Noah. To me, it was a very good movie by, again, Logan Lerman's in this film, along with Emma Watson, Anthony Hopkins, Jennifer Connelly. It's just it was a spiritual film to a degree, and it was what it is. It's Noah, him building this ark, and it was just a great performance. We went on a Sunday, me and my mom did, and she watched it, and she actually walked out saying it was a lot better than she even thought it was going to be. I enjoyed the performances head by all, and it was just number 8, Noah.
Funny you should say that. I actually have Noah as my number 8 too.
Hey. I like you, Steve. I knew I liked you for a reason.
This was Darren Aronofsky's last movie. I think. What was his last? It doesn't matter. This was an interesting take on the Noah tale. Like you said, it had a great ensemble. Emma Watson, Logan Lerman again, Jennifer Connelly. But it also got into the space of the mind space of a man who got to talk to God. And it's different instead of just, I'm just going to build an ark. Why? Because God told me to. But you get into the mind space. It's the psychological aspect of trying to build a bridge, trying to make room for his family, trying to fend off from the savages, from the enemies. So he's trying to balance everything in one play while trying to save himself, the world, and kind of his family and the world.
I enjoyed it.
So maybe I'll have to check it out. His only other film since then was the very polarizing Mother with Jennifer Lawrence.
I like it. I like Mother.
Well, you're okay. I can't follow you on that trail.
I can't either. I don't know, Steve. We're starting to part ways.
I began to like you.
I love how bat bleep crazy it goes. That's what I love about it.
My number 7 here is a reteam with the director of Gladiator, Ridley Scott, and Body of Lies. Again, just him and Leonardo DiCaprio. I thought this was slightly underrated at the time because I just thought this was a very another tight thriller here between these two here. And just two of the best actors here. I mean, when this is one of Leonardo DiCaprio's probably worst films in the last 10 years, this shows you how good of a track record he has. And Body of Lies is coming in at number 7 for me.
This movie, this is what introduced me to Russell Crowe. I didn't know who Russell Crowe was at the time, and it is The Sum of Us, where he plays a gay man living with his father, and it's set in Australia, of course. And to me, I don't know. I saw this. I can't remember where I saw this. It was at home. I know that. but it wasn't like on video or anything. It might have been on HBO or one of those channels at the time. But I was watching this with I can't remember who I was watching with, but I know I was watching with somebody. But we were watching it, and I just thought, that guy's a pretty good actor. I don't know who he is, where he came from, but this film is different than I've ever seen. And it's just a father and son relationship. And again, a film that was just very good. The Sum of Us.
All right, so my number 7, you guys might have this in your top 5, but I have it in my number 7. That would be A Beautiful Mind. A Beautiful Mind, it falls into the category where it's basically an Oscar bait movie, and that's before the word Oscar bait was like a common phrase or word in Hollywood. And looking at it now, it's very formulaic. But while it is formulaic, it has genuine great performances from Connolly and especially Russell Crowe, but like it kind of has that performance where he's playing a crazy person, and it's like, it's just playing to the back seats, but it's still a great performance. But I'm gonna have to put it lower than everybody else because I just thought it was a lot to take in. It was the Oscar bait movie before Oscar bait was such a thing.
It's not in my top 5 because I never saw it.
What?
It didn't make my top 10. I didn't really care about the film at all. It was a good performance, but at the end of the day, I just didn't care for the film, so I didn't make my top 10. So, but I'm not going to judge you for you to be in there. He did win, I believe. Did he not win, or did he lose on that year? He lost that year.
I know it was one. It won the picture though, right?
It won Best Picture. It won Best Supporting Actress.
Okay.
And director and screenplay and picture, yes.
Yeah, so he lost the actor part, unfortunately. So what number are we on now? Number what?
6.
We're at number 6 here. My number 6 is a movie you talked about earlier, Dutch, Master and Commander here. Not a genre necessarily I gravitate towards here, but they did a really good job here. Paul Bettany, when the first time I saw him popping up on screen, just a big old sea epic here, and it definitely is the epitome of epic. If I remember too, it was also quite long, but it's good. It's worth it. So number 6, Master and Commander.
Okay. My number 6 is Mystery Alaska. Yes, I love this film. It's a good comedy. Burt Reynolds, Hank Azaria, Mary McCormick is in this film as well.
Mike Myers.
Is Mike Myers in this film? It's
like a minute, I think.
Oh, okay. Is he like one of the Canadian announcers or something probably? But yeah, I just found this a charming film about a bunch of guys who basically just go out and play hockey on ice. They don't have a real ring or anything like that. They just make one. And I just thought it was a very charming film. Made me laugh. And it's, like I said, it's very enjoyable. Russell Crowe, and one of his, you can see why, he was considered a heartthrob during that period as well. So, yes, Mystery Alaska, my number 6.
All right, so my number 6 is another Ron Howard movie. It's the better Ron Howard movie. It's the better Ron Howard Russell Crowe movie. That would be Cinderella Man. That movie is underrated. That movie doesn't get a lot of love that it should get. It recreates the Great Depression. It recreates boxing. It has a unique. It's one of the few. It's probably one of the best. Might be one of the best boxing movies that Hollywood has done. Maybe in top 10. I would say top 10, not top 5. And it has great performances from Russell Crowe, Renee Zellweger, and especially Paul Giamatti, who should have been nominated that year for that movie, but unfortunately got that year he got nominated for Sideways.
No, you're mixing it up. I think you're mixing it up. I think he didn't get nominated for Sideways, but he got nominated for Cinderella Man.
Is that it?
Yeah, because Sideways was like his. I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing it up, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you're right. He got nominated for Cinderella Man, but didn't get nominated for Sideways. Excuse me.
I know Giamatti.
Okay. All right. Okay. Relax, American Splendor. But
Also, a great
it
performance of Paul Timo.
no, I know that's why I made that reference.
No,
But yeah, underrated boxing movie. One of the best Ron Howard movies aside from Backdraft. But yeah, that's my number 6.
Very nice there, very nice. Coming in, now we're in the top 5 here, top 5 RC Russell Crowe films. Well, number 5, another ensemble piece here, but he's kind of front and center here, and he kind of walks the line of being good and evil. It's LA Confidential, which I actually only saw probably in the last 2 or 3 years. Was finally my first viewing of this here. So, yeah, just another great piece. So many people I can name, I won't bother, but yeah, LA Confidential hold you in from beginning to end. Another one that's pretty lengthy, if I remember correctly here, but you got such a broad story with so many great character actors in this that you're with it the whole time. Still holds up if you want to see kind of a fun piece from that time era. Check it out, LA Confidential.
I'll probably be talking about that a little later. But my number 5, I just love the performance of A True Story. And then this one is what also I learned by listening to Russell Crowe talk. Do not gain weight. Do not gain weight for any role that you ever want to be a part of, because you'll never get it off. Never get it off. And guess what? He's never got it off. After doing The Insider, and to me, it was such a gripping tale of, it was an insider, of course, about the tobacco industry and how they were ruining people's lives, by saying that this thing is good for them, but yet they had the news that it's, of course, not. You had Christopher Plummer and you had Al Pacino as well in this film. And it was just a good just a great film. And again, if you want to go backwards from what we reviewed earlier about Mike Wallace is Here, they actually had that also as a interview with the Wegman, who was a part of this story that it was based on. And they were not going to have that interview until somebody else broke it, in print. And so they decided to run the air of that interview, in which actually made this film. So that, again, very, timely piece, very accurate piece. It's just a good performance by Russell Crowe. But again, kids, if you're out there and you got to gain weight, put on a fat suit. That's what he told everybody at the actor studio, inside the actor studio. Put on a fat suit, kids. Put on a fat suit.
I know Steve knows the premise of that movie because that's one of the 19 questions he got correct was about The Insider.
All right. My number 5 is it's a movie that we talked about earlier. That would be 3:10 to Yuma. Like Dutch said, it's one of the best westerns to come out in recent years. Has a great cast. I can even just give you the whole cast. It's Logan Lerman, Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, Ben Foster, Dallas Roberts, Peter Fonda, Vanessa Shaw, Alan Tudyk. I mean, that's just a whole.
Luke Wilson.
Yeah, exactly. It's way better than the original one. It's very action packed, and Russell Crowe's just all charismatic as hell in this movie. Just being the playing the good old bad guy, and he's the rogue with the heart of gold. So with a tin of gold, not a heart of gold.
Very nice. My number 4 here is a movie you touched upon not too long ago, Steve. And I think you nailed it on the head with a lot of things that you said. Cinderella Man. I love the depiction of this time. It's so well shot and directed here. Paul Giamatti. I saw that dude in Truman Show, and I was like, that dude's doing something. The background guy who's over the controls, and so he's fantastic in this here. I think it might be in my top 5 easily boxing movies. I'd have to look, but I would imagine just based on how much I really like this here. Just so much heart. You're on your feet in your living room rooting for freaking Russell Crowe, the family man who just trying to put bread on the table, baby. And I think Cinderella Man is kind of underrated. I don't know if it's because it's taken from other things. I don't know, but I just know it's so well done. And that's why it's my number 4.
My number 4 happens to be Maximus has to put on a big old fight in Gladiator, Ridley Scott's film. It is a great film. Probably the best shape I think Russell Crowe's ever been in. Even in Cinderella Man, he actually got a good physique going on in there as well. But this is his best physique. This is his Gerard Butler physique, if we were going to go comparing. But yeah, it was just a great movie, great film, just a masterpiece. And yeah, number four, Gladiator. And yes, you're wondering why is it so low? Well, there's three other ones that are better, in my mind, anyway.
All right, so my number four would be a movie we talked about earlier, L.A. Confidential. This was a movie where America got to know who Russell Crowe was, aside from watching the Denzel Washington Virtuosity. If you didn't watch Virtuosity, then you probably watched the next movie that he was in, which was L.A. Confidential. A great ensemble.
Well, escaping my Quick and the Dead.
Well, he was in all right. Quick and the Dead was in '93. Virtuosity was 95 and this was 97. So this was the breakout role for Russell Crowe, in my opinion, which will give him the roles for Insider and Gladiator later down the line. You got Guy Pearce, you got Kim Basinger, Danny DeVito, Kevin Spacey. It's a whole cast of people that you know from the 1997 in 1930s. You know, you keep it on a QT, very hush hush. You know, great screenplay, unforgettable ending. One of the best film noirs, modern film noirs in recent years. What else can I say about it?
Not much. I'll probably be talking about that still. Still be talking about it.
Continuing the trend of talking about movies that's been talked about, my number three, well, I was with you, Steve, till you shit on at the end. Nice Guys. No, but no, I really like it, though. No, I thought this was almost, I shouldn't have been surprised by Shane Black. I actually think Kiss Kiss Bang Bang's a little underrated, but I was with this the whole way. Such a great little pairing of, who knew, man? Gosling and him, just a fantastic pairing. We talked about it a little bit on the show. It's popped up in, I think, maybe another list or two throughout the years here. Something that, like, oh, God, man, like, I know they would never do it because they're movie stars, but, like, a TV show would be so much fun with these two, or a sequel, which I know they kind of want to, but unfortunately this made enough money here, but just really fun here. Russell Crowe playing great straight man, Gosling having some fun here. This nails the tone, the setting, and everything. Yeah, so Nice Guys is most recent on my list, and number three for a reason for me.
My number three is, we've talked about it a little bit briefly, I believe, or more. I'm not sure. I kind of lose track sometimes in my brain. But Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe, of course, American Gangsters. Number three on my list. I just love I don't know, Russell Crowe as a cop. Okay? There's something about Russell Crowe as a cop I believe a lot. You know, he has that, I don't know, attitude, that swagger that just makes you just believe. And I just thought with the two of them, it was just great chemistry on screen when they did meet. Then you have Josh Brolin as well, and I think Chikawa Okafor, I believe is how you say it.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Well, I come close sometimes, but yes, yeah, and again, I just love that movie. Still, so basically, it's just a good movie, American Gangster. With there it is, number three.
And don't forget about Show Me the Money, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Was he in there? I didn't know if he was in there. Okay, I didn't pay attention. Maybe I just don't pay attention to Cuba. Okay, ever since Boat Trip.
All right, so number three is also American Gangster for me. That's my number three movie too. One of the best Ridley Scott movies. It's not recognized as Gladiator or Alien or any other movie, or it's very it's not recognized as a classic as a lot of people would recognize it back then. Back then, I knew that something was special. You had both Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe both working basically on the same level, but on different wavelengths. You had Denzel Washington as the charismatic, drug-dealing, cold-blooded person who's always careful and always watching the room before people are watching him. And Russell Crowe happens to be the only person watching him, courtesy of one notable event where he basically wore a fur coat to a boxing event, and that basically led to the dominoes to fall over for Mr. Washington there. like I said, great ensemble, good screenplay by Steve Zillion that got nominated for an Oscar. Should have got nominated for Best Picture, but didn't unfortunately. Underrated movie, American Gangster. Go check it out.
All right, as we go on now to number 2 here. For me, my number 2 is the name of this episode, Are You Not Entertained? It's Gladiator here. Sword and Sandal epic as can be. One of the first times, too, that we got it in all glorious, not only bigger budget, but like R-rated too. It's bloody. It's a vengeful tale of avenging his wife, and lots of shots of hands through grass that are nicely shot. And then of course just the swarmy. As I mentioned before, like my problem with Project Power is we didn't have that bad guy that we cared about being defeated. You care about this fight of Joaquin Phoenix's just piece of shit guy. You want to see him get his comeuppance there, and so you are so ready for that final throwdown. And just, another couple good, really side characters here. One of the last films of, I'm not going to remember his name, trying to respect him here, but Gladiator is my number 2.
My number 2, again, we talked about it. We all kind of love it. Is LA Confidential. Again, Russell Crowe does what he does well as a copper. And, I just thought everyone was so good in this film. Even Kevin Spacey, just exuded just greasiness and in my mind, along with Danny DeVito playing the paparazzo, trying to get the hotel shot. Kim Basinger, an award. I think she won an award for this one. And this is the first time she ever did anything in a long time because she had agoraphobia, going out in public and all this other good stuff. But yeah, and this one opened my eyes to to Guy Pearce as an actor. So to me, this had everything in it that everyone wants, and it also brings newer talent to the table, so you can appreciate them as well. So yes, LA Confidential, number 2.
So my number 2 would be a movie that we all talked about earlier. That would be what I consider Michael Mann's second masterpiece, The Insider. Al Pacino and Russell Crowe.
Hoo-ah.
This is the hoo-ah. This is post hoo-ah with Al Pacino. This
I was
is
going to say no matter what.
post cocaine Al Pacino. You have
come on now.
Yeah. This guy, it's a movie that really sticks with you, especially back in the day when you had different companies saying you had Truth. Remember, the company of Truth had people recruiting kids to stop up against tobacco. This was around the time when those advertisements were getting very very prominent. So around that time, you have this movie come out. It's about the tobacco industry, about a whistleblower, and about people not knowing what the effects of cigarettes are or what they are to a more of a lethal extent. It explored the headspace of a man trying to figure out what to do about his job, what to do about just life in general, and just being confused. And you have a lot. It's good performances, very thrilling screenplay. Hell, it's great. Even there was the courtroom scene with Bruce McGill was great. Every person who's in that movie is great and plays their characters to a more better degree than they should. If you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't, because I've never seen it. So going on now as we talk about our number 1 Russell Crowe film. First, I want to actually talk about real quick about American Gangster, one of my favorite stories. You guys ever heard of the pay or play deal with American Gangster?
I think I heard about it, but you might have to refresh me on it.
Denzel Washington and actually Benicio del Toro, not Russell Crowe, were both attached to the film, and then just kind of just went to like developmental hell, and it got scrapped for a minute, and they both had pay or play deals. So Denzel Washington got paid $20 million for simply reading the script, having a lunch, and agreeing to do the movie, and then finally, X amount of time later, Ridley Scott, or is that who directed it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ridley and Denzel and Russell Crowe came together, and they were like, well, we still want Denzel, so he got paid double for the same movie. Pay or play deal, baby. Pay or play. Not my fault. I still want my money. Coming into the Russell Crowe, the man we're talking about, man of the hour, man of the power. Of course, we're talking about because of Unhinged coming out here into theaters pretty soon here. My number one is a movie you both have talked about. It was not a movie I was expecting to fall in love with and be so enthralled from beginning to end, and that's 3:10 to Yuma. I never thought I would love a Western this much. Makes me thinking I'm missing out on Westerns because it was just not my genre here. But I just thought, again, you listed it before, Steve, an ensemble cast here. You got some familiar faces popping up sometimes for a scene or two. Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, good old, just good and evil, although there's a little bit of good even in Russell Crowe here. Some fantastic performances here. Another one that's a good, like 2.5 hours, but so worth every minute of it. I love Ernest Yuma. Most people seem to like it. I still think it's somehow underrated because it's not talked about enough. One of the best films of that year. It's my favorite Russell Crowe film. I love 3:10 to Yuma.
2007 was a banger year, man. 2007 was a banger year.
Yeah, and there's some tough stuff that year. I know it's in my top 5 for sure of that year.
Okay, my number one, we all three have it in 3 different spots. So it's The Nice Guys. I love this film. I thought it was just unbelievably good. I want a sequel so bad still. And Shane Black, I'm not a very big fan of what he's done ever since. But, he hit something with this one. He hit it spot on for me. The comedy, what I like about, the film as well, not just the acting, but, is whenever you shoot a bullet, what happens with that bullet, and they tell you what happens with that bullet. What happens if this guy goes off a cliff? What happens with everything else that happens when you go off a cliff? I like this type of, those little tiny little nuance, things that they put in those films. But yeah, I just thought the chemistry again, with Gosling and Crowe, unbelievable. One's a cranky dude, and the other one just is, hey, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And what's the girl's name who's in there as well? The young girl. What was her name? I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, this film was just is good. And it's just very entertaining. That's why it's my number one. And like I said, it was the best one that I've seen Russell Crowe in a long time, in which I could say, you know what, he has it still. And again, he plays that part. Yeah, I think it was a private eye or whatever, but it still has that copy feel,
Well, we can't talk about a Russell Crowe movie if I don't include this movie. We talk about, Are You Not Entertained? But we talk about At My Signal, Unleash Hell, and this is Gladiator. I mean, this is every single part of this machine is on point. Ridley Scott with their direction. You have a great ensemble with Connie Nielsen, Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed's last movie before he passed away.
That's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix in his most slimiest role to date, if you're not including the Joker. And
no, he's slimier in this.
No, yeah, but there's different levels of slime, but that's a whole different show. Russell Crowe,
slime balls.
Russell Crowe is iconic. This is his most iconic role. It's his best role. It is his best performance. It's moving. It's caring. It's badass. He's fighting tigers. He's fighting gladiators. He might as well fight a bear, and then might as well throw an oh my into there. It was the best movie of that summer. It was probably one of the best movies of that year. It's probably one of the best movies of that decade. I can't say much. I can't say enough. And that ending always gets me. With Djimon Hounsou.
Yeah.
Jaimin.
So why didn't any of us have Proof of Life? What happened with us with that?
It's in my honorable mentions.
It should never be in your honorable mention.
Proof of Life was very forgettable. I've only seen it one and done. That's it.
I only have like 18 movies that I've seen of his, so
That's what I said. You should never even have listed it. Just mark it off right now. Let's take it away from your honorable mention.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Well, Russell Crowe, let's all go over it real quick here. For Russell Crowe, Giorno was number 10, Boy Erased, 9, The Quick and the Dead, 8, State of Play, 7, Body of Lies, 6, Master and Commander, Far Side of the World, number 5, L.A. Confidential, 4, Cinderella Man, 3, Nice Guys, 2, Gladiator, and number 1, 310 to Yuma.
My number 10 is Master and Commander. 310 to Yuma is number 9. Number 8, Noah. Number 7, The Sum of Us. The number 6, Mystery Alaska. Number 5, The Insider. Number 4, Gladiator. Number 4, Gladiator. Number 3, American Eagle. American Gangster. Apologize. And number 2, LA Confidential, with my number 1 being The Nice Guys.
My number 10 is Les Miserables. Nobody had that there. We got number 9, The Nice Guys. Number 8, Noah. Number 7, A Beautiful Mind. Number 6, Cinderella Man. Number 5, 310 to Yuma. Number 4, LA Confidential. Number 3, American Gangster. Number 2, The Insider. And number 1, with a bullet, Gladiator.
There we go. Top 10 Russell Crowe films. Don't forget, he has a new movie coming out this week. Russell Crowe in Unhinged. Yes, just apologize to the guy if you cut him off. That's all I'm going to say. Before I even watch this film, just say you're sorry. That's all. That's all he asked. Say you're sorry.
It's based on, it's a real true story down here in South Florida. I mean, that happens all the time. People just
just go ballistic for no apparent reason for some reason. But
I will have a review of that next week. What about you, Dutch?
If I could, I don't know yet. I'm still going over in my mind if I want to be in a theater with anybody at this point. I might just rip the whole theater out if I can. How much is that? How much would that be? It'll be a lot of money per film, but I'll do it if I have to.
Unhinged is not worth it. Just wait for DVD, buddy.
How about the Peninsula? We could do the Peninsula.
Redbox it. I'm Redboxing it.
For Russell Crowe, by the way, No Love for Fathers and Daughters, The Water Diviner, Broken City, remember that? Man with the Iron Fist, Robin Hood, No Love for Robin Hood.
Oh, Robin Hood's terrible.
Tenderness.
Watchable though.
Yeah, not at 2.5 hours. Sorry.
Let's see. Breaking Up, whatever that is. Heaven's Burning, and then it just gets some old ones. But The Sum of Us, that's what it is. 1994, Jeff Mitchell. All right.
I just said that. Some of Us. That was on my list. I
was trying to figure out because I didn't even know what you're talking about when you said that.
Like I said, it was the first time I ever saw him in a film, so that was a long time ago.
No love for the true history of the Kelly Gang, guys? God.
Well, see, kind of like you were saying before with Quick and the Dead, I didn't see it, but even if I did, I don't know if I could have it in his top 10. He's not in it all that much.
Yeah, did anybody get to see The Loudest Voice? The TV
No, it was a TV show.
No.
I would put him in performance-wise, but I guess.
Well, not on a movie show.
On a movie show.
It could be a movie or a TV show, right? No? Well, we said film.
It is Dutch.
We did say film.
It's a show about shows, man.
Well, we've never done a mix.
It's the namesake. It's in the namesake, but I get it. The list.
But we did call it top 10 movies.
Top 10 movies.
Of Russell film. Russell Crowe.
If it was top 10 performances, everything will be abided.
Yeah, if we said performances, then we could throw in everything from his band to everything. Have you ever listened to his band? Ooh. Okay. Awful. It's like Steven Seagal's band.
I was just about to say I booked him for next week. They were going to close the show out, but never mind.
That's all right. He's okay with that. So anyway, this is part of my favorite part of the show, always, because I don't get to do much. I just listen, and I'm lazy. But it's my favorite show because Jordan keeps us apprised on everything that's going on in the world around us. So tell us, what's our favorite thing about news and notable stuff?
I just got a few things for you today. The first one is I put here just to piss you off, Dutch. Most of the DC original TV series, DCU, are moving to HBO Max. So all the things that you're paying right now for that DCU app, they're all going to HBO Max. Because the DCU app is saying, thanks for subscribing.
Yeah, I know. They gave you the big FU. You're right. They did. And I you know what? Here's the deal. I have HBO Max. I'm fine with that, and I will be reviewing Seth Rogen's new Pickle movie, wherever the hell that is. So I'll be talking about that next week. But yeah, I'm very upset still about that DC thing. And don't even. Okay, we're good. We're good, everybody.
Kevin Smith says that he is thinking about doing Tusk 2. I'm down. Not everyone likes the first Tusk. Maybe most don't. But I thought it was a fun, entertaining ride. Some great performances, mostly by Justin Long and Michael Parks, R.I.P. I think the premise he has, by the way, is a really good premise. I'm into it.
Is this just to piss Dutch off the whole night with your news and segments? Because Tusk 2? Tusk 2?
Tusk 2, baby.
You can just, dude, just imagine the poster, Tusk 2.
Oh, this man's a genius. Steve's even got the poster figured out.
But he's already had. Did he already have that in the first poster?
No, but you got to put the 2 in the middle. You got to put the 2.
Oh, okay. I got you. I'm sorry.
Zack Snyder is pulling a what's the movie with Kevin Spacey and Christopher Plummer?
I don't know.
All the Money in the World.
Oh, All the Money in the World. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's pulling that with Chris D'Elia. Chris D'Elia has been under a lot of allegations recently. So his upcoming movie, Army of the Dead, with Batista and a big cast, they're replacing Chris D'Elia with Tig Notaro, a famous comedian as well. And yeah, so it's been shot. They said since basically for several months now. There's even stills of the whole cast side by side, but they're gonna go green screen and a lot of what do you call it, stand-ins in order to get Tina Taro to just, you won't see Chris D'Elia when that movie comes out. HBO Max is taking some Comedy Central shows. The other two and Southside are both moving over to HBO Max. Their season ones were on Comedy Central. I was okay. I thought the other two was all right. Southside definitely had potential. So they also have the streaming rights to Aquafina's Nora from Queens. Season 2 will still air on Comedy Central, but then right after it'll be on the HBO Max app. As I mentioned before, if you're a Regal goer, Regal Cinemas are opening Friday. I'm gonna give it a shot. I already got my ticket for Unhinged. It's about, I think I went for the 231 or so. So, because Dutch scared me about going later or something like that. I don't know. And I also saw two, Dutch. You know what else comes out Friday? This should make you really get your butt to the theater. Peninsula, Train to Busan 2, Peninsula, Cutthroat City. There's a few dropping Friday, as well as some repeats like Inception and other stuff like that. So,
what's the other one about the bathroom? There's
writing on the bathroom walls.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty good too. And I was like, man, I wish there was not anything I got to worry about my life for.
Will they let me stay? Is there any rule against me staying now, like I used to?
They will probably not let you stay. You'll probably have to leave because they got to fumigate the place. Not because you're there, but you can't stick around. I think you're gonna have to leave. You have to go outside and do a turnaround, possibly.
Well, I'm sure they wouldn't make you leave the doors. They might make you like leave the.
Well, you won't be able to sit down.
Go. Oh yeah, you think they're doing there's nowhere to sit down anymore?
That's where usually everything is happening now like that. So I think everything is, you can't loiter anymore. You got to go back to your car, hang out for a minute or two, and then come back. If there's that much space.
Doing that, then I guess I'll do a one and done because.
But again, you're going to be there early, so you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll give a whole rundown as to how things are going. Here's what I wanted to talk to you gentlemen about too. A new trend now is new disclaimers before movies. Blazing Saddles on HBO Max. Just the other day after Monday Night Raw ended, I was looking up and I saw some sort of disclaimer about it was a different time and there's some sensitive humor here. And it was before Rush Hour. They were having a disclaimer before the PG-13 and also edited for TV Rush Hour. So what are your thoughts on disclaimers that we got to let the audience know Blazing Saddles has some racial humor, but it's really, I don't know. I think this is silly and I don't know, but I get it, but I also kind of really hate it. What do you think, Dutch?
I am not a big fan of a lot of, this, because I think if you go in, you're knowing what type of period these were made in. Gone with the Wind has now a bumper beforehand. It's like a 20 or 5 or 10 minute bumper now, I think, before you even watch it on HBO Max, in which they describe what the life was like, and it wasn't all roses. And we all know that slavery was not roses for anybody. It was not a glorification in my mind. Gone with the Wind is a good film. It's not my favorite film of all time, so it's nothing to worry about for me. But again, it's like Blazing Saddles. Mel Brooks has been known not to, to stand up against racism. And what he was doing in those films was basically showing, yeah, we do say the N word in this show, but we just show you the stupidity of why people use the N word. And he's always done
the
that.
disclaimer puts it too. They're like, if you notice, it's the characters, and they're having a, they kind of say that.
And I think we're not desensitized. It's just that people are, I don't know, they overthink a lot of things nowadays when they go to the films. I was blown away by the other day. I think I told you this before. If you ever watched the Bad News Bears original trailer, with Martin Landau, they used some words I could not believe they were using in that trailer. Like it was normal. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I wouldn't put that in the trailer. You could probably put it as a character back in the day, but not in the trailer. By God, you offend 90% of the people now. And yeah, I think because I'm attuned to those keywords, maybe that's the case. I don't know. What do you think on that, Steve? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I have not seen a lot. I've seen all the disclaimers posted like on social media, but I've not like it really has not affected me in a way as a moviegoer. So like I honestly kind of I'm understanding the situation, especially when we kind of live in a world where everybody wants to. I'm not saying cancel culture is a bad thing, but cancel culture is not really a good thing neither. And we're living in a world where everything there's a hint of badness or a hint of if it's shown today and it was something that was prominent like 30 years ago, then not a lot of people are taking to view how those movies were made back in the day or how those movies were made or what was the mind frame, even though a lot of those screenwriters were, influenced, if you may say so, but I mean, I don't see why not put a disclaimer on it. It's just something we're just gonna have to get used to, just like how we're gonna get used to wearing masks in public with COVID happening.
Well, the other thing you can point out on this, and we probably have a whole show on this, but people getting offended by Elmer Fudd chasing Bugs Bunny with a gun and shooting it off. That is, or Pepe Le Pew smoking a cigarette. These types of things happen. Yeah, they are not, great, I guess. I don't know. I still think it was funny. There's a lot of, those things that people are bitching and moaning about it. And I'm just going to say it that way because that's what they are. They're all complaining about stuff that were made in the 40s, the 30s. Disney, even on Disney Plus, they have disclaimers on their old cartoons as well, that they, use of tobacco or this or that. I think Dumbo even has a disclaimer. The original cartoon has a disclaimer on it as well. And I could see that. But, at the same time, I think you're just coddling this nature of people's sensitivity in which I think art is supposed to be expressed. And yes, so some of it could be concluded as racist art or however you want to do it. But you can find fault in every piece of art that's out there. And, I just don't believe that, you need to put a stamp on everything. Just educate yourself and don't be offended by everything. Is what
I
I'm
just
thinking.
want to do a quick disclaimer myself, though, of the views and thoughts of Steve Mason do not represent the views and thoughts of Still Show Without Show. He's from a different time and era, so disclaimer.
And of course, I have my own opinions, but everyone does. Like I said, and it's, we're never going to solve this until people just learn to just understand that movies were movies back then, movies are movies now. What you can and can't get away with now, I don't know. What can you get away with?
Miller played.
Well, how's this? Can I? You're a big Quentin Tarantino fan. Can you see a lot of disclaimers in front of his films?
They're just he'll be banned in like the next cancel culture.
Absolutely. What else do we got in our news today?
I love you. That's all I got.
That's all you got? Anything for you, Steve? Anything you heard today that was pretty good on news, or?
No, that today's a Saturday.
Gossip, Steve Mason.
The goodness thing is just going back to work. Just going back to work on Monday, so Everything's hopefully not normal, but everything's just going to be back to like where it was before we got out of here.
What about you, Steve? Are you hitting up any cinemas when you can, or are you gonna wait?
Depends on the movies, man. I'm definitely might want to catch Bill and Ted Face the Music in theaters rather than on demand.
I watch it at home.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for if I don't have to leave my house and it's right there, like I'm not gonna leave my house. If it was in theaters, I would risk it. But when it's right here, man.
But if you're going to pay $20 for it, you can watch it for free with your Regal Pass. What are you going to do?
Exactly.
If it's still free on my Amazon Prime, now I'm gonna do it on Amazon Prime. Is it Prime or Prime?
No, it's on demand, dude.
It's on demand. It's on demand.
Oh, then yeah, I'm going to the theater. I guess I am going to the theater then, aren't I?
You might be, yes. Doesn't mean that I am.
All right, that's cool. I'm okay with that decision.
Because it's during a holiday weekend. Also, hey, I just want to throw this out here real quick. Disney's made some big news today. The Owl House, I guess it's on the Disney Channel, makes history because Disney's first lead bisexual cartoon character. There you go, kids. So, warning there, but that's what they're doing. It's called, the series is The Owl House. Luz Nokeda, the show's 14-year-old protagonist, is, I guess her name is Luz.
I'm making owl jokes, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't do that shit to me. I'm trying to break some news. And then this one was not the worst one, like the Big Show back in the day. So just throwing that out there. And that's all the news I have. That was the bigger news that I saw out there today. So Disney showing up with bisexual children's cartoon. So there you go. Good job, everybody. Inclusiveness is everywhere. So anything else you guys want to say before we skedaddle? Anything to plug?
Well, first of all, thank you to our guest, Steve Mesa here. As I said, you can catch him defeating everyone on movie trivia and then sometimes also on wrestling trivia. Steve, anything you want to plug? Anywhere else we can find you?
You can check out my YouTube page at FIU Student 85. It's currently at 7,000 something subscribers. Check me out on Twitter at Steve Mesa. I currently have over 1,000 followers. Not really much else until I get some wrestling work related to be done, and I'm going to my first wrestling show tomorrow in a while. So,
where are you going?
Gangrel's show.
Nice. I love him. Gangrel's a good dude, good trainer as well. Tell Trevor I said I want 1,000 DVDs because he actually bought 100 DVDs from High Spots recently. The sick man. Dutch, who are you and where can we find you?
You can find me whenever I decide to do this show, it seems, at a show about shows. Hosting once in a while a show about trivia, and you can look at us as find us on Twitter, find us on Facebook. A show about something. I think a show about shows is what we call it, or only about shows actually is our Twitter handle because somebody stole the other one for some Broadway thing, and they only have one tweet.
Damn it!
I know.
We should have used the underscores, man.
I should have, but I didn't. So I just thought I like this one though. So only about shows because it is. It's only about shows, and I don't know. Do we even update our Facebook? Because I don't have Facebook. But yeah.
Sometimes, if I remember.
You should remember a little bit more. And also, like I said, I'm in the works of putting together my new show, which I have not come with. I've decided to change the title. So it'll be something different.
Not a cup of coffee anymore?
No, it's going to be something totally different. Might be something totally non-Dutch related. So we'll see how that works.
All right. Well, of course, follow me on here on the Pierce Co. channel. We'll be doing some movie trivia soon, hopefully. Dutch, quit dodging me. Follow the Pierce Wrestling channel. We're doing lots of wrestling trivia over there. Of course, the Real Pro Wrestling channel. Steve did a show once. Dutch has done several. And I'm JPO saying I love you as much as anyone else does. If you go to the theaters or if you do anything, just stay safe. As Dutch always says, wear a mask. Be friendly to others, and don't kill people with road rage.
Of course. No road rage.